You need to watch this episode. Mark my word. Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. If it's Wednesday, we have a cocktail video, or in this case, a cocktail adjacent video. So I am sort of a most of the time fan of Maker's Mark. I know some people kind of think of them as kind of more basic kind of whiskey. I think a lot of their releases are very good. Now they have this program. Well, they came out with a whiskey called Maker's Mark 46. And basically what they did is they took their barrels and they put in these very specific staves into the barrels. So they're literally inside the barrels. And 46 was apparently, I think it was the 46th one they tried, or there was some reason behind the number 46. But throughout that whole process of testing, they tried a bunch of different staves, and so they did their single barrel program. And I found this at Costco. I know I've seen these around quite a bit, where they will have 375 milliliter single barrels. And I thought it'd be really interesting to try these to see if you can really taste the difference in these staves. So we have three. So this first one, and you're gonna have to bear with me as I go through these. This is so they all have, I believe it is 10 staves altogether. So this is, or not 10, sorry. Yeah, no, 10 staves. So this has one baked American pure, two sacred French cuvee, two seared French cuvee, 4 Maker's 46 staves, no roasted French mocha, and 3 toasted French spice. I'm reading these off. I don't know what effect this is going to have on the flavor, because I've tried a lot of these single barrels, but I've never done them sort of one against each other. So that's kind of the purpose of this. I'm probably, as I taste them, going to sort of highlight what ones have this versus the other thing. So our second one has 3. By the way, this is so you can tell you're getting old. You have to take your glasses up to read things. 3 baked American pure, 3 seared French cuvee, 2 Maker's 46 0 French mocha, and 2 toasted French spice. And for our last one, we'll get rid of this. And for our last one, we have 0 American pure, 2 seared French cuvee, 0 Maker's 46, 4 French mocha, and 4 toasted French spice. And I'm not going to do this tasting blind, because I don't think it's, I'm not really, I mean, I might rank them, but I don't think that's the most important thing. So I think the first two both have Maker's 46 staves, but neither one of these has a roasted French mocha, whereas our last one has no Maker's 46 and 4 roasted French mocha. So I think that's going to be interesting to see if that sort of makes a difference. So, and by the way, I should mention, these are fresh cracks. I took the wax off beforehand because I don't need the world seeing how long it takes me to take wax off of a Maker's bottle, because self-esteem. All right, so this is the first one. Again, 4 Maker's 46 staves and no roasted French mocha. Our second is going to be 2 Maker's 46 staves, 0 roasted mocha. This one always has the 3 baked American pure. I'm not sure what that means. We'll see if it makes a difference in the flavor. And finally, this is the one that has 4 roasted French mocha, 4 toasted French spice, and then just 2 seared French cuvee. So this is all French, for lack of a better term. Let's see if there's a difference in color. I think just right off the top of my head, I think all these seem like they're pretty close to the same color. Okay, let's go for our first one. So the nose on this is, there is a rich nose, but it's not super apparent. There's a lot of nose there, but again, it's a little bit muted. which I know kind of sounds like a contradiction in terms, but I swear it's there. It's just kind of a little bit of a muted, but again, sort of very underlying rich nose. I get maybe, I don't know, maybe wood and tobacco. I don't know, maybe just a little bit of citrus, I guess. I'm definitely not the one to go to for the best tasting notes on things. I'm just going to tell you what or excuse me, in this case, nosing notes. I'm just going to tell you what I get. Interesting. This nose is a little bit less. So whereas this has sort of an underlying rich nose, this has an underlying less rich nose, I think. Maybe more like, kind of like light leather, I think. Not a bad nose by any means, but not as sort of, in a little more apparent, but less kind of, has that less of a rich sort of note to it. This, I think, a little sweeter. Yeah, that's kind of a sweet nose. Still a lot of leather and tobacco, I think. Less wood on this one. All right. So, and again, this is our. I'm sort of separating those by the French staves, and this has basically all French staves, and these less so. The one in the middle is the one that is the most. Excuse me, that's not right. No, the first one is the one with the most Makers 46 staves. That's real good. It's very subtle. These are all fairly proofy. I think they are all between 108 and 110 proof. Our lowest proof is this one at 108.6, and our highest proof is this one, I think 109.9. So proof-wise, these are going to be very comparable. Now the one thing on this one, the finish isn't super long. It is there, and I'm getting it, but it doesn't stick around as long as I might like it to. It's sort of funny. This is has a more aggressive palate. A little tannic. Again, kind of leathery, tobacco-y. Yeah, that kind of thing. But much more apparent. This is a lot more subtle. And I think this has a little bit better finish too. Just a little bit. All right, let's go to our Frenchy French. Okay, more subtle, a little sweeter, a lot richer. This one's pretty good. I like this one quite a bit. The finish is pretty good too. It hangs out there in kind of a pleasant way. Again, none of these whiskeys are super old, so you're not going to get the super long finish you will get on a very long aged whiskey. But that finish sticks around for a little bit. I'm going to go back through them one last time. It's funny, the first and the third have a lot of similarity. I think the first one is a little more bold, maybe, I don't want to say more astringent necessarily, a little hotter on the palate. Still very good. These are all pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say I dislike any of these. It's interesting. So this one's, these are the two most similar. This is the most different. Good finish. Maybe the better finish between the three. But the palate I don't like as much. It's just a little, it's hard to describe. A little more tannic, a little less underlying sweetness. And here I should describe when I'm talking sweetness in whiskeys like this, I'm not talking about that kind of sugary or syrupy sweetness. This is like kind of a natural sweetness. So it has a little bit less natural sweetness there. Let's go to this last one last time. Yeah, that's good. It's very warm. Again, a lot of natural sweetness. The finish isn't perfect on it. There's maybe just kind of a little bit of an off note right at the very end, but it's kind of small, and I don't think most people probably notice that. I think ultimately I like number 3, then number 2, then number 1, then number 2. Although again, these are all very pleasant. So it definitely goes to show that the staves do make a difference. It is not an enormous difference. If you are inexperienced in tasting whiskeys, these probably won't taste vastly different to you. Again, I think 1 and 3, I'm trying to see what they have in common that might... So these both have 2 seared French Cuvée staves. So it could be that's what we're tasting. Although otherwise they're fairly different. This has no Maker's 46, and this has 4. I mean, the big difference with this one is the 4 toasted French mocha. So I don't know. I think in future when I'm looking at private barrel selections, I'll probably be looking, excuse me, not toasted, roasted, because that's different. I think I'll be looking for the roasted French mocha. I think that brings kind of a nice, sweet, kind of a more subtle yet rich kind of an overall palate. So, yeah, I would go with this one. On that bombshell, I want to thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good drink, and have a good day.